Hello folks, welcome to this video, and this is me talking about my top 100 list from last year again. Because this is stuff that I looked at the time. Autosport did their top 50. I know they usually do stuff like that special for the article, but it was really funny because I was releasing my top 25 to my top 100 around the time they were doing their top 50 for the year. So I want to go through that. I'm not going to go through all of it in a lot of detail. I'm just going to compare their top 50 to my top 100. If you want to look at more in terms of breakdown, I will link that stuff in the description section down below for you. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about it. And before I get into it, I'm also doing something like this for 2025, though I'm changing it slightly. My video on that is coming out tomorrow. So if you want to stick around for that, you can always hit the subscribe button, click the bell to get notified when it comes out, as well as any other videos, shorts or streams I do around here in the real world of motorsport or about sim racing. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this stuff. I've done videos every day now for over a decade. So any support is always really appreciated. I try to reply to every comment I get as well. Without further ado, let's get into it. And I think one of the things I want to start off with is the fact that out of Autosport's top 50, there are 12 drivers that I didn't include in my top 100. Now, some of them are because I wasn't following their series particularly closely. Isaac Hadjar for one, Lauren Heinrich for another, Tadasuke Makino was another one. And a couple of them are ones where I followed the series they were in, but I didn't necessarily think to include them. Mikkel Jensen is one of them. Sebastian Buemi's another one. I think because Buemi did well in WEC, but wasn't as much of a standout in Formula E. But then, half of the list of drivers I missed were F1 drivers. Which, for me, I wasn't going to include. The ones I missed out Ocon, I missed out Tsunoda, I missed out Albon, Alonso, Hülkenberg, and Gasly. Oh, the other one that I missed out, by the way, was Pato O'Ward, is because, again, I didn't follow IndyCar so closely last year. I'm going to follow it a bit more closely this year. But of the F1 drivers, I couldn't see a case putting any of them in the top 100. And it also feels a bit like Autosport is still in this kind of F1 is the peak of everything phase. Because this would mean that I think 12 of their top 50, or a quarter of their top 50, were F1 drivers. I'm sorry, I don't think that, half the F1 grid, or more than half the F1 grid, should be on this list. I included some F1 drivers, and some of them I did that were pretty strange. People like, for example, I included Franco Colapinto. But that's because what he did was so impressive in terms of the standard, getting himself what later got announced as an Alpine reserve role. Which people are wondering if it's going to be a racing role, and if it is, how soon. Poor Jack Doohan. But yeah, I just simply disagree. If you've got 50 spots, you don't put so many F1 drivers in there. Likewise, I was surprised with some of the ones they'd moved much further down on the list. My biggest dissonance in terms of where I had put them much higher than Autosport had were Jake Hill, 26 places down. I'd put him in 18th, and they put him in 44th. Tom Ingram was 25 places off. Sebastian Ogier, who I put all the way up in 7th place overall, was down in 31st, so a 24 place gap. And Maro Engel, 30 places different. The only other one that had that massive kind of dissonance in terms of me being seemingly too generous was Kyle Larson, 15 places. or Oliver Rowland 16. And I think I could make the case for Rowland, who, had he not missed Portland, would have been in title contention in Formula E. And Kyle Larson, who was arguably the driver last year, the winningest driver, obviously, in the NASCAR Cup Series. But especially when I'm about to jump in to compare the ones where they've put them much higher than I did, I don't really get it. Like, I don't see what they've done as the metric that's ended up with this dissonance. Especially because, if you look at Oliver Rowland, who, again, they put 42nd, I put 26th. We then have to talk about the person that did win Formula E. Because Pascal Wehrlein was 7th on their list and 17th on mine. I think he did well. I think he deserved to be champion. But the gap wasn't that profound. Especially compared to the analysis I did of Rowland and Wehrlein. Likewise, some of the changes were really bizarre. I mean, I was expecting Max Verstappen to be top of their list. I was expecting potentially a lot more F1 people in their top 10. And in the end, their top 3 were all F1 drivers. Then there are a couple of other ones, like Scott McLaughlin was up 37 spots. Yeah, okay. He did do well. I think I punished him a bit because in terms of the title battle, it swung back to him pretty late. But other ones are, George Russell was up in 11th. Another one was Kelvin van der Linde was 49 places up. Antonio Felix da Costa was 44 places up. But two of the biggest ones, Renger van der Zande was 72 places higher on their list than on mine. I mean, he did have some good drives, and I particularly commended his Petit Le Mans performance, but I didn't think it was, top quarter, in their case, top 25 of the year. Likewise, Joey Logano, they put 15th. They put him one place ahead of Kyle Larson. I get, yes, Logano's the champion. But he only won 3 times in the year. He got into the round of 8 through a fluke, disqualification for Alex Bowman. And, yeah, he won the 3 times that it counted the most. The once in the regular season, once in the round of 8, and then the championship race. But he wasn't that great over the season. I don't believe you should just commend a champion because they were a champion. I mean, I commended Thierry Neuville because he had the most consistent, most dependable year in the WRC. That's why he was 3rd on my list. I was surprised to put him in 10th. Was it because he didn't have the same raw performance? Maybe. But he only made one proper mistake that cost him anything all year long. Like, there were offs like at CER, but it was only, Sardinia? He had a real incident. Whereas, yeah, Lando Norris, they put in 3rd. I put him, 20th? Charles Leclerc, they put in 2nd. I put in 10th. Yeah, I could see the case for Max Verstappen. I deliberated between him and Kyle Larson for quite a while before I decided Kyle Larson. But yeah, it was a bit strange. Like, of the 3/4 of the list that we shared, most of them were different. In fact, only one of them we put in the same place. And it was an interesting one. In 4th place, I agreed with Autosport. It should be Alex Palou. And he had a great season. I think everyone generally agrees with that. 3-time IndyCar champion now. He didn't do the kind of things that would set the world alight, but given that 9 of the top 10 drivers in this list are single-seaters, they're already one of the top 10 that wasn't a single-seater driver was Thierry Neuville. And given the fact that 4 of the top 6 were Formula 1, yeah, I think it was worth commending the IndyCar champ. It's interesting, though, that that's the only one that we agreed on. But, hey, I thought the comparison was a bit interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching and joining as always. And, yeah, hope to see you around soon for more. Till next time, bye for now.